Will Smith actually used to live behind my house. I've had the pleasure of knowing his son and his daughter very well, and we did Men in Black 3 with him. I believe whatever he felt that he did, he had the right to do. I also felt there were 3 losers in one fight. He didn't know, being Chris Rock. He didn't want to do what he had to do, being Will Smith. And she did nothing, being Jada. And it's a very sad thing, but there was a powerful moment for me to sit and watch one of the world's best emoters ever we've seen speak from the heart. And I would rather take the beauty out of the situation than take the pain. But I had to leave my chair, I'll be honest with you. It cut me really deep. And I don't get deep about these things, but I'm a big movie fan, I'll be honest with you. And out of a horrible moment, there was a little bit of beauty in what came on, and I'm sure everyone's very apologetic about what happened. Shouldn't have happened. But ask yourself, what would you do in the same situation? I don't know how we'd all react. We're all very human, right?
Yeah. Liam Payne, of course, formerly of One Direction. We're live on Good Morning Britain. Thanks for your reaction there. I mean, who should we be angry with? Chris Rock or Will Smith?
Listen, I can't speak on this. I can't speak too hard on this because I met Chris when I was younger, and it was when we sold out Madison Square Gardens, and it was a very illusional time for me because I was a teenager who just sold out Madison Square Gardens. It's very strange. And I sat with him and we spoke for 20-30 minutes, and he was lovely. I also know Will Smith. My manager's worked with Will Smith in the past from the ground upwards. And like I say, he was my neighbour. But like I say, for me, I don't have a dog in this fight. There were 3 losers in this fight. And what happened is very sad. I hope everybody's okay. Like, I really reach out to you guys. I hope you're okay. And I don't want to expand a situation that doesn't need to be expanded any further. I think we all know what happened. And like I say, let's take the beauty out of it. We got to watch the world's best emoter ever speak from the heart. I've seen him in every situation, in every film he's ever done. And when he cries, I cry. When he laughs, I laugh. And it's a beautiful moment. And he spoke from the heart. So let's just take the positive out of it.
How should we move forward now, do you think?
I think we go on and have a fantastic evening. I can't believe I'm in LA again for the first time since COVID. I'm sorry to make you guys jealous from home, but it's fantastic to be out here. I feel a very fortunate boy. I mean, I'm from Wolverhampton originally, and I was brought up very humble beginnings, and I'm at the Oscars. So anything can happen if you stick to it, guys, you know what I mean?
Liam, it's incredible to see your journey from One Direction here in Hollywood. Our audience appreciate the time that you've taken to talk to us tonight.
No,
so thank you so much.
And I can't believe how young you are. That's fantastic.
We're both very young.
Have a good evening, thank you.
Back to you, Susanna.
Thanks, Noel.
Amazing.
Oh, was that okay? I hope I didn't fuck that up.
Brilliant stuff. Noel, thanks very much indeed. Well, you know, Liam is, like everybody, struggling to explain it, interpret it. We've heard some justification of it. Look, assault is never okay. Will Smith clearly assaults Chris Rock on stage. What was the right reaction to a really unpleasant reference to Will Smith's wife's medical condition? She suffers from alopecia. Richard, you said that she's expressed before the fact that she was struck with fear when she knew that her hair was falling out. It's a horrible thing.
We saw a moment of flawed humanity there. We saw a moment of flawed humanity. Yeah. Clearly what he did was wrong.
Except that there's also a moment when he goes back and sits down and he shouts
he's still angry.
From his seat. So this is before it happens. This is before he goes up. Then Jada's face reveals that she's actually really upset by what he said. Will Smith goes up on stage, assaults Chris Rock. Chris Rock is left speechless until he then explains what happened. People thought it might be a stunt, but if you watch it back, you can clearly see, and they've admitted. Now, this is the point where Will Smith then says,
keep my wife's name out your mouth! I'm going to, okay? Okay.
Wow. Remonstrating with him, I can understand, and might have been the right thing to do in the circumstances, not go on stage and hit him across the face.
I just think it's very easy to pass judgment on things like this.
Can I just say, if it was my son at school and somebody made a joke... Because I thought what Liam Payne said was really interesting. He's a young lad who cries when Will Smith cries. He laughs when he's watched every film. There are boys who watch that sort... You know...
This is my point about role modelling.
But I think it's really interesting what he said, because I've just looked at the time and it's 18 minutes past 7. An hour ago, I was like, oh, well, now that my son's woken up and is about to go to school, I'm thinking, I hope he doesn't see that. Isn't that interesting? So I'm thinking, because I would tell my son, he's 9 and a half, he does MMA, you know, listen... You've got to control your emotions. If somebody makes a joke, you walk away or you go and tell someone. Exactly. It's kind of crazy now to think that he would think that that's OK. Well, if somebody makes a joke, you're not defending yourself physically, are you? And that person hasn't thrown the first punch. Therefore, as a boy who's going out and growing to be a teenager eventually,
and if we're going to
you would need to teach boys to manage your emotions around violence, right? I find that's really interesting now.
And also this point about I was defending her. You know, that I don't think that's okay. Oh, yes, of course, if she was being assaulted, I understand it. Not if a bad joke is made, then you step in with violence.
I think you're right.
You're absolutely right, Ranveer. There are children.
I think if that happened in a school playground, Will Smith would have been suspended and expelled from school, right? And I know that sounds silly because that's the Oscars, but we're sort of justifying it because he's famous.
I'm not justifying it.
No, but there's a justification. No, not you, but you know, generally, even in my mind, I've changed my mind in the last hour. Because I'm now thinking about the impact on a 10-year-old boy at school.
Look,
fascinating, actually.
We were talking to Noel a little bit earlier before we went over to Ross about the fact that the Oscars is an opportunity to make a point. It is about role modelling. It is about showing diversity. It is criticised for being too woke, for people making political points and for saying things and losing audience because it all gets too boring. Well, they have just shown something which, as you say, will have a huge impact on other people. Well, and if they condone it and say, you know, look, there was a justification for it, you are saying it's all right if somebody else gets hurt by something you've said, it's all right.
Well, it's had an impact on people suffering from alopecia. Leslie, on email, has alopecia. She says, I'm an alopecia sufferer. I know the emotion and the depression that we suffer when we lose our hair, and I'm actually proud of Will Smith for defending his wife because he's seen the rawness behind closed doors of how much she's suffered. And Julie Louise says on Twitter, I'm not endorsing these comments, I'm just reading them out. It's not OK to joke about alopecia. Will Smith has gone through his wife's ordeal side by side with her like my husband has with me, crying constantly, feeling worthless, feeling ugly. I just hope one good thing comes from this, and that's awareness of this dreaded disease. You see, I just think that Chris Rock wondered where angels fear to tread on this.
OK,
and we're being very judgmental. Understandably, that's our job. We're being very judgmental about a situation which is highly emotive, and you've just seen that from people who suffer from it.
I've had alopecia. I've talked about it before. I did a big piece in the Mirror about it. I mean, you can't tell now I have extensions in, but, like, I've had alopecia since my dad died, yeah.
Do you still have it?
Patches, yeah, but... I don't know. It's a really... I think the impact on, you know, young boys like Liam... I thought Liam Payne's interview was brilliant, what Noel just did there. I thought that, actually, I think he did explain it.
I'm not being judgmental because it's my job, by the way.
No.
I'm being judgmental because I think...
it's our job to say what we think.
What he did was wrong.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's our job to say what we think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I think, as you can tell.
Are you not sure what you think?
I think that what he did was clearly wrong and was a criminal offence, although the police aren't going to prosecute. But I can understand the emotions that underpinned it. And I think it's very important to understand why people behave in the way that they do. And I think you just saw a human mistake unfurling on live global television there. And it's important to analyse it and not just say it was wrong, full stop, end of discussion, because people do make mistakes. They do things they shouldn't do. He shouldn't have done it. So you have to ask, why did he do it? And I think, as I say, Chris Rock was sticking his fingers, dabbling his fingers in the stuff of that couple's souls. Alopecia is a big deal in people's lives.
Do you know what? I don't think it was the alopecia that made Will Smith do it.
No?
Because if you see his first reaction to the joke, he doesn't react in an angry way.
It was his wife's reaction.
It was his wife's reaction.
Absolutely.
So there's other ththings going on, and there's a lead up to this, which I think...
He probably felt bad that he was laughing at the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.